Yes, you have pressed play. The silence speaks, and I picked it up from another guy, Jonathan Jansen, who was quite effective in getting that message across. I'm in a very noisy space, and it's the least noisiest in the daytime. It's the War Memorial on Komiki Road. And the topic this morning is my woundedness. And I am an empath by nature. If you were to do an enneagram, you'll find out that the E is a strong driver. I think there was a J and there was something else, but the E is the biggest one. I walk around with very little money in my pocket, but my account is full in terms of empathy. The way I empathize is by greeting, by waving, by looking, by talking, buying coffee, and by dealing with the bully. I've also got to be very careful in today's session, because I've got to be discreet, because I've been involved in some empathic projects where I've made myself a target, hence the lack of detail that's going to follow. There are two cases that have come my way, and in each case I've been called to do different things. We're heading up into end of birthday week is finished, so thank you for those who need to be thanked. And we're heading up into mid-November, and soon it will be December, and we have the 16 days of activism that this is going to lead up to, and I'm going to do the necessary tags. And there were two cases in which I was called to get involved in terms of GBV, gender-based violence. And it's very easy for me for you to assume that I'm not guilty, and I want to confess my guilt there, that I'm complicit. It's not just a us and them story, it's a us story. The one that I chose to get involved in, hang on, let's put it this way. The first one that I chose not to get involved in happened about 3 years ago. Okay, and for those who don't know, I do regular walking, and in the regularity, you get to see things, you get to meet people. My neighbours where I lived in Glenken, I knew their dogs better, because dogs would know me from my walks. Once in the morning and once in the evening, I suppose. But the thing that I want to tell you there is that I got to meet a neighbour who lived one road back, and peeling away in the layers, greeting and then chatting, and then meeting his family, and then meeting his kids, I then got a sense that he was an abuser. He was a violent abuser. His wife was in a state, and I did nothing. His son got kicked out of home, and he ended up living in there next to the river. I've given him a lift a few times, and I bought him a coffee, listened to his conversation. He was a bipolar kid, so he would have rant when he was at his worst. And that's how I show empathy. The conversations don't make sense to me, but I figured it makes sense to someone, so I put it, hold that tension, as they say. So I did nothing, and I moved out of the area with the knowledge that no one told me about. I just had a sense. And last week, Thursday, I had to come to a meeting at Collaborate, community meeting, where we discuss issues that are relevant to us and go forward on some of our collectiveness. And ended up in Ocean View picking someone up, and a woman on the way to the meeting, she was talking non-stop about GBV and how she's got involved. And then on the way back, she told me that she has to... Hello! On the drive from OV to Bishop, that's all she spoke about, GBV and her involvement. her trying to change the narrative, her trying to help people. And one of the people that she was helping was the woman that I chose not to help. And this same woman was a participant in the meeting. And I gave her a lift arm. So the role that I played, the role that I was asked to play, was to be the driver, I suppose, and the listener, and the spectator. She's moved out of the house, and there's lots more to come. But I'm not going to go into her detail. I'm going to witness. I'm going to step up from spectator and put myself nearest the position so I can witness. Then the other area that they asked me, that I was asked to intervene, my neighbours were unlawfully evicted, or there was a threat to them unlawfully evicted. And through a lot of soul searching, prayer, journaling, talking, questions, do I make myself die? An overwhelming sense that I got from God was yes. So there's my woundednesses that I have exposed to you today. I'm going to end this session with prayer, because I think that's the space that I'm in right now. When I feel wounded, I need a healer.
Oh,
my healer.
Father, thank you for the safety and security of home.
So here we go.
More than just a physical place in which we live, but a space we make our own, temporary or permanent. Thank you, Lord, that home means a space in which to be ourselves. Put up our pictures and quirky mugs for copious amounts of coffee and tea. Thank you, Lord, that home allows us a personal expression of individuality, and family, which allows us to invite others into the space to share our lives. Thank you that home allows us a space to curl up and hide from the world when we desperately need sanctuary and our own chapel with you. Flowers, candles, herbs, the fragrances that perfume our home like a comfort blanket. Music and colors and light that create not just an ambience, but a place of warmth. Thank you, Lord, that home is also a power pack that energizes us to take on the world. We are filled up, we are recharged, we are educated, we are excited, and we then, like straight arrows, directed and sent out. Thank you, Lord, for home that goes where we go in our hearts. Amen.